Welcome in, everybody. This is the Crab Feast 2020 Division Championship here from Cedar Lane Park in Bel Air, Maryland. Mark Dixon joined by the Director of Recruiting and High School Content at Inside Lacrosse, Ty Zanders. Ty, it's been a long weekend of lacrosse. You've watched these 2020s now seemingly for a long, long time. Crabs versus Leading Edge Elite. Crabs out of Baltimore, obviously Leading Edge out of New Jersey. What can people expect from these two rosters watching this game?
Well, I think to start, I think what was so interesting is the fact that, you know, a lot of these best players in each team, they've been trying out for the U19 team all weekend, so they've been missing their top guys. And for them to kind of persevere and keep going without the big boys, I think is very interesting. But very deep rosters here.
Shot by the Crabs, that's number 17 from the Crabs team, Peter Sheehan out of St. Paul's School.
It's fun.
And that ball was run out of bounds by Leading Edge. So the Leading Edge team in black, wearing the gray shorts. Crabs in all blue. This is number 18, Christopher Nichols out of the Del Barton School. Gives it up to number 3, Aiden Decker. And Ty is the Director of Recruiting and High School Activities at Inside Lacrosse. You'll know a lot of where these kids are committed. Some of the kids are still uncommitted. What's the overall temperature for the 2020 class? This was the first class really to go live, quote unquote, last September 1st under the new recruiting rules, but there's still a lot of kids that are quality players that aren't committed.
I think that's the biggest takeaway of the entire summer is just the volume of the uncommitted 2020s. I think a lot of guys have left a lot of spots open and feel very good about that to fill those up with how much they've been watching the 20s. I mean, the fields are just packed with college coaches. In the past, a lot of these guys have been gobbled up, and I think it's just a lot of available talent that really excites these coaches.
Aiden Guma operating from behind under the defense of Brent McVicker of the Crabs. Ethan Robinson for the Crabs stepping out. Long pass, cross feed, shot, save. Nice post-to-post save there for the Crabs netminder. That is JT Morton. Morton now off the restart, gives it up to his defender, number 42 in all blue, C.W. Smith, who then gets it up to his fellow long stick, big lefty, number 10, Ben Morgan. Morgan then throws in the middle of the field. Turnover, ball is loose. Battle for the loose ball. Ball is still loose, picked up by Leading Edge. That is Billy Rojak. Rojak now steps into the box. 2018 NCAA rules are being played here, which means anytime a team gets possession of the ball, they have 30 seconds to touch it up in the box. There is no shot clock. There is a visible shot, a subjective shot clock determined by the referees if there is stalling determined, and there is no dive. So no dive today, Ty Zanders. I know you're heartbroken that you won't be able to see any dive plays, but out of these two rosters, who are the guys that really stick out as being the top players on each, the Crabs and Leading Edge respectively?
Well, we just saw Rojak with the ground ball there. I think watching him a lot this spring, he was outstanding. Very good off the ground and really growing as a cover man. I think, uncommitted for now, but don't think that'll last very long. But big fan of his game, and like Lenskold at the faceoff X, he's uncommitted, a former Delaware commit. Definitely one of the better playmakers as well. And then, Luke Blanc is not here today, but, got injured yesterday with his elbow and went home, but headed to UMass. And a lot of talent in general, like Colin Freer on defense. And for the Crabs, I mean, you have just a wealth of talent. I think Jackson Bonnets has been an animal. And, after wrapping up the U19 tryouts, and, I think as well, I really like George Alvarez. I think he's an outstanding keeper, very polished, moves well in net, and just as vocal as anybody out there. He's at the Navy, a St. John's kid in D.C.
Jack Amon took a shot earlier, rang off the post, went to midfield. Leading Edge was able to corral it. This is Aiden Decker now working down the alley. Shot goes wide. He was defended by Ryan Lancaster. Lancaster out of Loyola Blakefield, recently committed to Dickinson, a Division III school. So, much to your point, that's a 2020 that just this past week committed to the Red Devils. Dodge down the alley, shot saved by Morton. Initially, then it gets a trickle, and the ball goes in the cage. That is Jack Amon. And if I'm mispronouncing your name, Jack, I apologize. A-I-M-O-N-E out of Hunterdon Central. And Ty, we're going to see Amon just go down the alley. And looked like Morton had a beat on it, got a piece of it, but just enough juice to get by Morton.
Those are the goals you just hate to give up, especially the first goal of the day. Just got to shake it off.
Amon, big, strong righty, went down the alley. We saw him take a shot about a minute or two earlier that rang off the post, and that thing came all the way back to the midfield line.
I like Amon and Decker a lot. I think, really solid, uncommitted middies, getting their hands free down the alley.
Ensuing face-off, won by Leading Edge. Mike Lensgold getting the better of that matchup against Aiden Shortley of the Crabs.
Lensgold, a nice pickup for leading edge. Added him this summer as their primary faceoff guy. Done a very good job. Out of Bridgewater Raritan High School in New Jersey. Very successful program up there.
If you're just joining us, welcome to the 2020 championship game of Crab Feast. Feed, shot, and another goal for leading edge. Leading edge, Andrew Williams taking the backside feed, and he sneaks it into the near post. Great feed and shot, and the leading edge team is up 2-0 with 4 minutes left to go here in the first quarter.
Just a great look there by Riccardi.
Early offense right there, too. The leading edge got the ball down the wing after an extended scrum at the faceoff, and then the feed from behind the cage. Always still like to see that, even with the new shot clock rules in the NCAA, teams still attacking that first 15, 20 seconds of the period. Lensgold wins another faceoff, comes right down the heart of the defense. Ball is dislodged, rolls harmlessly into the crease, of JT Morton. Morton now gets the ball up. Ben Morgan looking for the clear. Nice outlet by Morton, finds Peter Sheehan. People will recognize that name. His dad, Peter Sheehan, an outstanding goaltender at the University of Virginia back in the late 80s. Won a national championship in actually came up just short in 1986 against North Carolina. Dodged down the alley by Billy Spillman.
Of course, we have Dane Swanson out here, after trying out at U19 as well.
This is big Dane Swanson, a Naval Academy commit, tried out for the U19 team, so the Crabs happy to have him back for this championship contest.
Maybe the best shooting midi in the country. Just brings it with his left and right. He's a 5-star by inside Lacrosse. Just a phenomenal shooter, left and right hand, and go down the alley and step down. Just special shooter.
Sheehan dodges right, fakes back left, in, cuts inside, takes the feed, shoots and scores. Peter Sheehan dunks it home. Nifty look from Casey Doyle behind the cage. And the Crabs are on the board. They trail leading edge 2-1.
Two more guys that have come on very strong. That was very impressive by Casey Doyle at the Under Armour Baltimore tryouts. Of course, younger brother of Connor and Jack Doyle. Two excellent players in the Gilman School.
You saw
Kevin
Sheehan
as well.
Yeah, a lot of Doyles.
A lot of Doyles
in the Baltimore area. You have the Doyle Gilman family, you have the Doyle Loyola family, so a lot of Doyles in this town. But I liked how Sheehan started right, came back left, good shot, went wide. Doyle was able to corral, but how about Sheehan kept his feet moving, going to the goal?
And that's been my biggest takeaway, I think, of his game, is that he's always moving well the ball and very smart attackman.
We've got our first flag of the game, and here's another U19 tryout. Hopeful Jackson Bonnet's picking up the ground ball for Crabs. Jack Colleen then picks it up, pass up top, ball comes loose. Whistle will stop play, and we're going to have our first extra man opportunity of the game. It's going to be a cross check on leading edge. So the Crabs will have a man advantage for up to 1 minute. As I look over at the Crabs sideline, a player in street clothes is Gable Braun, the face-off man, committed to North Carolina, so they'll miss him in this 2020 championship game. Extra man opportunity about to commence. J.P. Ward up top, over to Swanson. This is Billy Spillman from Gilman. Swanson loads up, shot, saved by the netminder.
Didn't know he had it.
Mario Heeman with the stop, and to your point, great form by Dane Swanson, good power, probably not the placement he wanted, but the goaltender had to look twice to make sure he saved that hard delivery by Dane Swanson. Loose ball picked up along the sideline. Cameron Bear racing, and shot is wide. Shot was taken by Rory Jones.
Jones, a Hofstra commit out of St. Paul's.
Re-trigger by Tucker Denault on the far side. And that'll be the end of the first quarter here at the Crab Feast 2020 championship game. Leading edge on top, 2-1 against the Crabs. We'll be right back right after this. Stick around, Crab Feast 2020 championship game. Welcome back to Crab Feast, Cedar Lane Park in Bel Air, Maryland. Mark Dixon and the Director of Recruiting and High School Content at Inside Lacrosse, Ty Zanders. 2-1 is our score here as we begin the second quarter. That foul against Leading Edge carried over here into the second period. The Crabs had possession, so they will start with the ball, a man up, with no face-off. Only about 5 seconds left to go on the foul. EMO opportunity. Now the teams are at even strength. Shot just goes wide. Spillman with a hot release. A lot of Yale. You've seen a lot of Yale commits. You got Billy Spillman shooting there, but also you witnessed a lot of Yale commits at the under-19 tryout. Yeah,
they were tremendous. I think Spillman is a guy that I think is very versatile. Can play attack and midi, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as a senior at Gilman. But a very impressive player. Younger brother as well. He's a boys Latin. Ryan, a very strong player. But,
shot.
Yale just doing a great job with these Gilman guys.
Well, not only do they have to replenish their roster, but they got to find 2 assistant coaches now for Coach Andy Shea. Andrew Stimmel taking the job at Marquette. Andrew Baxter taking the job at Fairfield. So the Yale Bulldogs, the Andy Shea coaching tree grows. Nice wheel offense by Leading Edge. Shot is just wide. Taken by number 6, Andrew Williams out of St. Peter's Prep.
And I don't know if there's a go-to player in this Leading Edge offense with a lot of their big guns trying out for U19. So I think they're kind of trading off, who's out there and impressing for them. Been very impressed with their defense. Coach Tim Maroy said very good things about how Mario's been playing in cage and big ground balls from Rojak up top and very steady defensive play.
Crabs, of course, coached by Duncan Booth, longtime coach for the Baltimore organization. And that's a lot of times in these tournaments, you get to championship games and you win titles through attrition, but you can't ride 1 or 2 horses the entire way. You've got to have several guys that can produce offense. You got to have several guys that can get you the ball on the defensive end, and you also have to have good face-off and goalie play. It's not rocket science.
Depth is huge, I think, on a hot summer day, especially with that aspect of the U19s. The fact that couldn't be more impressed with Swanson and Bonnets just showing their grit and stamina and still out here.
And that U19 tryout, I mean, that was some pretty gritty, hard, grinding lacrosse.
It's the highest compete level you could possibly, find at this level. So, I mean, the kids were exhausted.
Michael Riccicardi with the fake shot. Save Morton. Nice shot there by Jack Amon. And JT Morton met it low, makes the stop. Jackson Bonnets, he is a demon between the lines, shows great jets. Starting some transition for the Crabs. Comes down, shot. Nice check. Beautiful trail check by number 2 from Leading Edge, Colin Freer.
A Princeton commit.
Real nice trail check right there, disrupting the shooting motion of Jackson Bonnets.
Freer was an early commit before the April 2017 legislation, committing to the in-state Princeton Tigers, and I think liked him early and didn't feel like he developed initially, and then it just really come on strong.
That is a Crabs goal. The assist, Mateo Brown. The feed to the cutting midfielder, number 26, Connor Panabianco. So a great feed and cut, and the Crabs have tied this game at 2 apiece. Another example of early offense, a clear attempt, shot out of bounds, but right off of the end line, very aggressive substitutions and good cat and mouse by this Crabs team. And
a nice connection there as well. I watched those 2 earlier in pool player earlier this morning. Very impressive together.
So Panabianco from Brown, and this is 2-2. We've got 4 12-minute running time quarters. 2018 NCAA rules. Off the face-off shot just goes wide. Nice shot opportunity right there by Mike Lensgold. We've called his name quite a bit so far here in the early going for Leading Edge. Stick around after this game. We've got the 2021 championship, FCA versus DC Express. That's the class that you've been watching mostly this weekend. That's the class that most of these college coaches in attendance here at Cedar Lane Park have been watching.
Should be an awesome game. 2 great semifinals for those 2. Some local flavor.
Crabs beat FCA to get to this championship game. And I believe Leading Edge beat Massachusetts Black, but I might have to double check that. Shot out of bounds. Look at the hustle from Ethan Robinson. And Ethan Robinson, the defenseman, wins the race to the end line. That was just flat out desire and speed.
Great play there by Robinson, who is really one of my favorite uncommitted players in the class. Lancaster
with the feed over to Bonnets. Smart, snappy clear by this Crabs team. Here comes Lancaster.
If they score here, they better thank Robinson for that play over there as the catalyst.
When you talk to college coaches, especially when I'm broadcasting in season, the ball and possessions are so valued. And you always talk about, especially in this game of dominating face-off men, how do we get extra possessions? We've got to ride hard, and you got to run shots out of bounds, just like
plays like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and those plays will, you know, add up and really be the big difference maker in a win, in a championship. You know, who wants them more?
Yeah. Robinson, tremendous hustle. This is a feed into Dane Swanson. Swanson runs out of real estate, gets the ball behind the cage. That's Ward. Ward with the bouncer, gets front side and scores. J.P. Ward from Dane Swanson, a little two-man action at goal line extended. Ward gets top side, bounces it home, and the Crabs have taken a 3-2 lead.
You can tell they're kind of easing into this and appearing more and more comfortable as they go on. Nice play there by Ward getting top side, another Baltimore Lacrosse family.
And that's the thing, like I've coached in so many of these events, it's short time, so if you fall behind, you tend to, if you're inexperienced, you tend to panic a little bit, but you know that just like a regular season lacrosse game, it's going to have its ebbs and flows, and Crabs fell behind 2-0, and then lately they've just been making a little bit more plays. They have not been very successful, though, at the face-off dot due to this man, number 85, Mike Lensgold. He wins another face-off for Leading Edge.
And I'm not sure that's changing anytime soon either. Lensgold is had a really strong summer.
And again, Crabs not suiting up Gable Braun, their number one face-off man, committed to the University of North Carolina. Shot from long distance, finds the back of the cage. Kyle Stevenson just does his best Steph Curry imitation, steps up and delivers a beautiful bouncer from about 17 yards past the Crabs netminder, and we're tied up at 3.
Stevenson, a Michigan commit, the top 30 player in the class of 2020. Had a really impressive year for the Pirates. And I know he flipped from Rutgers to Michigan and made Kevin Conner a very happy man. That's a huge get for the Wolverines.
Insult to injury, too. A little Big Ten to Big Ten transfer right there. Michigan, a team that struggled this year with a ton of injuries, but ended the season on a very positive note, knocking off Ohio State for the first time in their lacrosse program history.
I think they'll ride that momentum, you know, in the recruiting trail and into next year. You know, they were not very pleased with how their year went. A nice way to end, and adding some great recruits in the next couple of years.
Colin Freer with the clear, gets it up to Aiden Decker. Decker finds his line mate, Christopher Nichols, over to Stevenson.
And Stevenson, if I'm not mistaken, was another player who tried out for the U19 team. Do not quote me on that.
We will not.
104 players.
But it's on YouTube forever. Nice sweeping dodge. Cameron Bear playing defense. Excuse me, that is not Cameron Bear. That is a number 8 or number 2. That is Cameron Bear. Okay. Good defense by Bear, and Ethan Robinson leads to the turnover. Crabs will take possession. We're just about midway through the second quarter here. Cedar Lane Park, Bel Air, Maryland. 2020 championship game. 2020 graduation year championship game between the Crabs and Leading Edge at Crab Feast. The Crab Feast, just an incredible tournament when you consider all the divisions that are playing. Shout out and good luck to the Crabs 2023 team. My younger son, Owen, they're playing right now over at Goucher College for that championship. But an event like Crab Feast, you're on the summer circuit from start to finish. How would you best describe this Crab Feast and the teams that come here and compete?
Well, it's definitely one of the best. I think you can always see a really high compete level here and the intensity. These guys want it really bad. And obviously a lot of really good tournaments out there, but I think this has been one of the best for the longest time, and my favorite tournament. And not just because it's local, not too far to come. But, you know, love this event. Ryan McLaren and his staff done a great job over the years, and it's been never a drop-off. playoff Sunday has been just tremendous from year to year.
Mateo Brown backing in Austin Castorina of leading edge and gets the shot off. This is Ward under the defensive eye of Colin Freer. Ward moves it up top into the stick of Jack Colleen. Colleen surveying the offense, gets it over to Denault. 1 minute left to go here in the second quarter. Denault draws a double. Nice trail check by the leading edge defender. Creates the turnover, and that is a tremendous check from Joe Rosen of leading edge.
Another big play there by Rosen.
Leading edge trying to clear it. We have about 30 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Nice ride by J.P. Ward. Here comes the netminder. A little bit of a mishandle at the midfield line. Ball picked up momentarily by Pearson Harrington, but then it's knocked loose. Here comes leading edge.
Nice little ground ball there by Decker in midfield.
And Colin Uvino in the game now for leading edge, taking that feed and setting up the offense. Feed inside, ball's loose. Still on the carpet, less than 10 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Morton is not going to be able to corral it. But that is the end of the first half here. Cedar Lane Park in Bel Air, Maryland. The 2020 Crab Feast Championship game. Crabs 2020 tied at 3 with leading edge 2020. We've had a great first half of action. Stick around. We've got a tremendous second half on tap. Do not go anywhere. Crab Feast Championships coming to you live.
Nationally known, locally grown. Crabs Lacrosse, Baltimore's best.
One of the nation's most prestigious invitational events. Over 120 college coaches in attendance. "17 states, plus Canada.
"3-3 is our halftime score here at the 2020 championship game for the Crab Feast Championship. And here's all the goals scored first by leading edge. They get on the board with a nice shot, and leading edge was off and running.
Good early offense there by leading edge.
Another little backside shot right here. Good early offense. That goal scored by number 6, Andrew Williams. But Crabs would not be denied, starting some offense. Peter Sheehan, great hustle play, gets inside and gets the Crabs on the board to make it 2-1. And then we're going to see Mateo Brown finds a streaking Connor Panabianco to make it 2-all. Then we have a McDonough connection, Dane Swanson, J.P. Ward.
Nice little play there by Ward.
And then right
both teams doing a great job just getting to the front of the cage and the spots to make them successful.
Then right
start the second.
Right before halftime, leading edge was able to get one, and they score the first goal here of the second half. It is a pole goal by Billy Rojak. You've been talking about him throughout this broadcast. He's been impressive between the lines. Now he shows what he can do when he gets an opportunity to shoot.
Yeah, I love his game. Again, watching him throughout the spring, you just see a motor, in his game and some well-roundedness. I did not see that as much in the past. I think he's really blossomed into just a well-rounded defenseman, more of an LSM for sure. Getting some good looks right now.
Rojak, there we see the replay, just available on the backside. That was not an easy feed to handle. It was a good feed, but with that 70 inches of titanium, he's able to collect it, redirect it, find the back of the cage. And just like that, leading edge has scored the game's last 2 goals, 4-3. Nice face-off win. This is A nice development for the Crabs. They've been struggling at the face-off dot, but Aiden Shortley out of Georgetown Prep comes up with a big draw.
Yeah, especially after a big juice goal there by leading edge. Always nice to have a long pole score, but even better, right out of the gates.
I think that's a great point you make. That's almost the equivalent of a dunk in basketball.
No doubt.
Long pole goal, and then you're able to, when you're able to keep that kill that momentum immediately. That is a huge shift. So nice job by Shortley. Rory Jones now. Little confusion on the leading edge defense. Shot to score, Rory Jones. You saw that little hesitation between the pole and the shorty, and that miscommunication gave Jones just enough room to get to the middle of the field and deliver a nice high to low bouncer. Right there, that little switch, or the non-switch we should say, the miscommunication gave Jones that extra 3 or 4 yards of space, and he cans it. Nice shot, Rory Jones.
Great placement there. Goalie couldn't get to it. I like what Jones can do as a Dodger. Another guy who's improved very well. I think he'll have a big year at St. Paul's. And I want to see their first St. Paul's to Hofstra guy since Ryan Grimes, right?
That is, you don't see many guys from Brooklynville going up to North Hempstead.
No, not at all.
So nice get from Seth Tyrion. How about that get by Ryan Lancaster? Shortly wins the faceoff, gets it to Bonnets. Bonnets hits Lancaster, and he puts a worm burner past the leading edge netminder, and it's been a game of runs, and now Crabs own a 2-goal run, and they've taken a 5-4 lead.
Feeling it from deep there.
Lancaster, great trail, good handle as well. That was a good look from Bonnets, but he did have to extend his body, go cross his face, is able to corral it, and then he whips it into the back of the cage. So the Crabs, in a very entertaining back and forth affair thus far, regain the lead at 5-4.
Not as easy as it looked there, just snagging out of the air. Not the best pass by Bonnets, but he corralled it and made the most of it.
What I'm noticing on the face-off for Shortley is he's really anticipating the whistle very well. He's got quick hands, and he is whistle ready. Not that his counterpart is not Mike Lensgold, because he had a dominant first half, but it just seems like Shortley has adjusted that part of his mechanics ever so slightly. Leading edge now with a settled possession. Really, this I think will be the first settled 6-on-6 possession we've had so far here in the second half for both ball clubs. Early offense and transition goals has been on display so far here.
And I feel like Jones's goal was really the first from the outside. It's had a lot of interior looks on both teams. A nice job there by Jones that last play. As the ball come right to us. Almost got it, missed the GB.
Ty Sanders, big Oriole fan, just bobbled it at shortstop. Good hands though. You were aware. You were tracking it.
I saw it coming and I overthought it.
That's okay.
Next play.
Like a little Baba Booey. First pitch. 5-4 is your score. Middle of the third quarter. Crabs versus leading edge.
Whit Malloy here, 50, a Hilton Head native, South Carolina boy. Got a lot of love these last few weeks. I've been told to watch him. I believe he's committed at Jacksonville.
Mateo Brown operating from behind the cage, gets a step, shoots and scores. Paints the upper 90. Mateo Brown with a head of steam, and he's a big, strong lefty, and when he gets that leverage like that, it's very tough to contain him.
Mateo was outstanding here, just really impressive here last year. Good job getting top side there, high percentage shot. Not a player I've been able to watch a whole lot, but like his game.
Had the opportunity to coach Mateo a little bit when he was younger. Out of Mount Hebron High School, all-county, Howard County performer. Committed to the Air Force Academy. Now we're going to get leading edge going early. So that, again, noticing that whistle recognition by Shortley. Les Cole trying to counter it, and he just jumps the whistle. And that gives possession to the Crabs, who all of a sudden have jumped out to a 2-goal lead, right?
Yep.
6-4.
I believe that's right. Seeing both offenses initiate with a lot of different guys today. Again, that's the key. Just having the depth, having the numbers. Keep them fresh.
McVicker on the field now for Crabs, as is Spillman. Spillman taking the short stick matchup. Spillman gets those hands free. Nice shot and a save.
Probably wants that one back.
Mario Heeman is the goalie for Leading Edge here in the second half. Ball thrown into the back of the cage by the Crabs. Possession over to Leading Edge.
And Heeman with a rare full game in club ball. Evan Barr, another guy who's tried out for the U19 team, a Duke commit out of Somerville. One of the best goalies in the class. Usually splits time with Heeman.
And we've got a new goaltender as well for the Crabs. It's George Alvarez. You referenced him a little earlier in our telecast.
Really special keeper. Love the way he plays. Loud talker, moves really well in cage, wide base. Just a fiery guy.
Shot, and there's Alvarez with the save.
Right on
Quick
cue.
hands.
Navy commit. I think he led the Under Armour event in saves last year. Really good year for the DC team.
Denault settling things down for the Crabs. Whit Malloy checking into the game for the Crabs. Cruising down the left alley feed behind the transfer pass is errant. Turnover to Leading Edge.
Of course, clearing another key, clearing and riding, as always.
Got to be
Very
clean.
important.
Yeah, got to be clean in those areas.
Especially how much transition you're playing in this game, you know?
Yep, a lot of transition. Hot summer months. What, probably 6th, 7th game of the weekend. Defense is tired. When you have a chance to give them a breather, you got to get out of harm's way.
We've definitely seen an increase in, I would imagine, an increase in riding, clearing play in these last couple of years in practices.
Corey Dabrowski being guarded by Pierce Griffith of the Crabs. Michael Riccardi working against the defense of Denault. Lancaster trying to grab the ground ball, but it's Griffith that comes out of it. Created turnover for the Crabs.
Griffith a guest for the Baltimore Crabs. From St. Thomas Aquinas down in Florida.
Lancaster looking to clear it against the pressure of this Leading Edge attack. Little whirling dervish, nice takeaway check. Ball's loose at midfield, good pickup. And that is Rojak.
Yet again.
Picks it clean off the carpet. And here he comes down the left alley. Feed behind to X. Give and go shot. Ball goes over the cage. Possession will stay with Leading Edge. Lancaster got himself in a little bit of trouble. Off the restart, shot just goes wide. That was taken by Andrew Williams, who has a goal in this game. Aiden Decker being defended by Lancaster. Draws a double. Here comes Robinson. They've got an open man shot. There it is. And that was hit off a Crabs player right in the side of the head. That's Dane Swanson. Referee's going to blow the whistle to make sure Swanson is okay. It looked like he took that one right off the ear hole. Swanson able to get to the sideline.
That'll wake you up.
It will. And it hurts, too. I, as an official, you always worry about players that get hit anywhere in the head with a shot. That actually worked out pretty well for the Crabs. They're able to substitute a pole on for Dane Swanson. Swanson can play defense, but he is
not known for it as
He
much.
will leave the player. He will leave the field anytime to give way to a long ball.
Coach.
Yeah, exactly. 1 minute left to go here in the third quarter. Aiden Guma working as a defensive Cameron Bear. Bear with good defense on Guma. Guma looking to try to get that edge. Nice defense. And a takeaway by Bonnets. Here we go. We got a 4-on-3 situation right here. Bonnets legging it into the offensive end. Hits the point man Jones. Jones wheels it out. We have less than a minute to go here in the third quarter. 30 seconds left to go. Crabs on top of Leading Edge.
You never want to say it could be the nail in the coffin here with how much time there is to play, but a goal here by the Crabs.
Yeah, it'd be a big goal.
Huge. And carry that over into the fourth quarter.
Sheehan goes down the alley, 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds now, feed into the middle, shot, McVicker, goal! Peter Sheehan Great vision, finds a cutting Brent McVicker, and a nice little feed inside. McVicker, the tidy handle and the neat finish. And we're gonna get a replay of it right here. Love how McVicker caught it and brought it back and then shot it to the far side of the cage where he had better angle.
And great look there as well. I've been just super impressed with these Crabs kids off ball, both of them really. They're all, cutting and really helping their chances there. Always moving.
So the Crabs are leading edge heading into the fourth quarter. Don't go anywhere. We've got a great remaining 12 minutes of lacrosse coming right up. Crab Feast 2019.
Nationally known, locally grown. Crabs Lacrosse, Baltimore's best.
Crabs 7, leading edge 4, fourth quarter on tap here. Crab Feast Championship Game 2020 division coming to you live. Referees in this game, Todd Bennett, Joe Cieslak Jr., and Ken Shepard. Getting everything squared away for the face-off men. This has been a battle all day between Aiden Shortley and Mike Lenskold of leading edge. Shortley did a great job there in the third quarter, winning some face-offs. Looks like he won the clamp again, scoots it out. This is Lancaster. Lancaster, great pickup, wheels it out of his defensive end. And you said it, Ty, if the Crabs could get a goal late in the third, which they did, and there's Jackson Bonnets, rips high-to-high dart from about 15 yards. And the momentum you spoke of at the end of the third quarter has carried over to the beginning of the fourth.
And a huge goal there by Bonnets. And really one of the better athletes in the Baltimore area. I've watched him wrestle, and he is just an animal on the wrestling mat and a great football player. I think he was all MIAA as a sophomore and junior.
Just one of those special athletes that just has that combination of speed, power, and just so fun to watch.
He's a gritty player. I really like watching him play. He's off the Navy in a couple years.
Lesko wins it out the front door. Bonnets off the wing, though, creates a loose ball. Shortly can't handle it, but his teammate, number 10 for the Crabs, Ben Morgan, is able to pick up a nice ground ball and get it out of harm's way. But then the turnover, here comes a shot. Save Alvarez, right on the doorstep, denied. That is a big stop, but then on the ensuing clear, ball is picked off by leading edge. That was a great play by Joe Rosen, just snares it right out of midair and gets a much needed possession for leading edge.
Nice play there by Rosen. He's known for having a great stick, always active in the passing lanes and in the middle of the field, just very impactful.
Defensive switch, Morgan taking the leading edge attackman, Aiden Decker. Shot Alvarez. What I like about Alvarez in watching him is he's not a guesser. He plays deep on his goal line and he tracks the ball. And he's got, what I've seen in the limited time I've been watching him in this game, he looks like he just has great technique and great form.
He does. He's very disciplined back there. Does not guess at all. And again, one of my favorite goalies in that 2020 class. You've seen him make some huge saves today and really just all, in this game and all day.
Swanson takes and gives the ball to Spillman, and Spillman kisses it off the crossbar. Here we'll take a look at Alvarez again. Wow. I mean, that is
gorgeous.
That's a heady play by Decker of leading edge to be whistle ready and get top side, but Alvarez just holds his ground and fights it off. Great camera work by our crew. Sheehan, who's had a huge impact in this game, he's got a goal and an assist so far. Cruises above the top side of the defense, spins back to his right, shot, nice save Budavino rebounds, goal. Rory Jones picks up the rebound. Mario Heeman with a great save off of a nasty shot from Sheen, but Rory Jones, Johnny on the spot, is able to pick it up and redirect it into the cage, and right now it's all Crabs. Look at that foot get out from Heeman.
And then Jones. Save.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice save. Well, we've seen it so much at the college game, especially with the shot clock. I mean, Heeman did everything he could to make that save, but not giving up rebounds.
Yeah, I think you're definitely more of an emphasis on just catching the ball, holding on to it cleanly. You don't want to give up that reset in college lacrosse.
Coming up with about 7 minutes left in this game. Leading Edge needs to get something going. They had a 4-3 lead. They scored the first goal of the third period. Coming right out of halftime, it was a pole goal by Billy Rojak, and then ever since, it's been all Crabs.
Crabs just been very opportunistic. And again, great off ball. I believe fundamentally sound on defense.
Kyle Stevenson working against Pearson Harrington. High bouncer, goes wide. I think we got to give a little bit of credit to Alvarez as well. He's come in here. JT Morton played a nice first half for the Crabs, but Alvarez has made a couple of saves that have been very discouraging for the leading edge shooters.
It's definitely the X factor. I think it's always huge when you can have a guy like that come in and make some big saves and get his confidence going. Another one there.
Alvarez again. Quick outlet to Lancaster. Lancaster head of steam. Crabs have numbers. Ward on the point, down low. Shot, score. Great transition lacrosse, defense to offense, finished by Rory Jones. The Crabs extend their lead.
Running away with it there. Some really clean stick work there, shown by the Crabs in transition, good ball movement, and a great shot there by Jones. Just had a really good second half.
Wonderful job by the Crabs. Rory Jones with that goal. We have a hold against the Crabs. Possession over to leading edge.
Gotta start chipping away here.
Yeah. I'd say about 5 minutes left to go in the game.
There's some huge recruiting opportunities here for so many of these 2020s that are still out there. A big day could definitely, solidify their chances at finding a home.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Typically, this stage of championships on Sunday, most of the coaches have gone home in years past.
Absolutely.
Not the case anymore. I mean,
they're really just trying to finish out the day strong. They want to see, who's playing the best when they're the most tired. I know that I love watching, Sunday lacrosse because these kids are just shot. But, who's still, getting that big ground ball in a scrum? Who's, diving to the end line.
Great little two-man game. Nice backdoor cut by Andrew Williams. He takes the feed from Jack Amon and scores it. And leading edge, not out of this thing yet.
Another great look there to the inside. Good handle, good finish.
Let's go wins it clean. But there's Jackson Bond. It's just a disturber, to say the least.
A warrior. I mean, he is so strong in the middle of the field and off the wings. Just would be a big part of this win should the Crabs hold on, which it looks like they will.
Denault now stepping in, cycles it over to Panabianco. He scored a big goal in the second quarter on the feed from Mateo Brown. So if you had to put a bow on the Crab Feast 2020 weekend, what would it be? I mean, I know you said there's still a ton of talented, uncommitted players out there, but what are some other takeaways that you'll talk about in the next couple days?
I think that's always the biggest theme of the summer so far, just how much uncommitted 2020 talent. But I think beyond that, it's really fun watching these 2021 attackmen. A lot of good little lefties, and trying to figure out who I like the most on defense. We'll see some really good defensemen in this next game on both sides of the ball, both teams rather.
Turnover in the middle of the field. Here comes Leading Edge. They've got numbers. Fast break opportunity. Feed down to the crease. Shot to score. Great job by Colin Uvino. Finds Andrew Williams right in the center of the defense of the Crabs. Williams sticks it, takes a shot. Tough play by Uvino and Williams to get Leading Edge their 6th goal of the game.
Took a beating there.
Two minutes left in this game. Here we're going to see that goal. That's tough lacrosse right there.
New Jersey grit.
Under 2 minutes to go here, and it is not a stop-start situation. Tournament rules say any game with 2 goals and less is a start-stop. So with the Crabs up by a handful, they will look to salt this one away and take home one of the biggest championships on the summer circuit. The Crab Feast, this division, the 2020s, rising seniors. Peter Sheehan, he's had a good game here so far. McVicker has a goal. The big man, Dane Swanson, good to see him back on the field after taking a shot off the helmet.
Huge for the Crabs. They could, win their own tournament, and always a nice feeling to defend your home turf.
Big time. Mario Heeman comes out, the goaltender, and is able to dislodge the ball from Swanson. Leading Edge is not done yet.
Good play there.
Rosen gets taken down at midfield, and that'll be a foul. McVicker actually would have been smart to maybe not even pick that one up. But we've got running time, so Leading Edge is going to get out there real fast to try to get this man-up situation cracking. 45 seconds left in the game, and the clock is running. Leading Edge will have a man advantage.
Definitely some urgency here from Leading Edge offense. Let's see what they can do in their EMO unit.
Stevenson out there. 20 seconds left to go in this game. It looks like the Crabs are going to take home the 2020 championship. Nice little fake and shot off the post. That was a sneaky attempt by Aiden Guma. But the last 10 seconds of the game are ticking off the clock. Long field pass corralled by Heeman, and that'll do it. The Crabs are your champions of the 2019 Crab Feast 2020 division. Terrific game.
That was a great game, really fun to watch. I've enjoyed watching these two teams for what feels like 5, 6, 7 years.
That's because it has been that long.
It has. Early recruiting, RIP.
You had a situation where it was 3-3 at half. Leading Edge came out, scored the first goal of the second half, a pole goal that you thought would give them a lot of momentum and they could go ahead and run away with this thing. But Crabs, credit Aiden Shortley at the face-off dot, was able to win some face-offs there in the second quarter, or third quarter, and then they were able to string a couple of goals together, transition opportunities, hustle plays, and good goaltending. Kind of like that cocktail that you need to win a lacrosse game.
Yeah, I think everything was timely. I think they got some key plays at some pretty big moments.
Here we go, some highlights from this game. Leading Edge got off on the board quickly. This score made it 1-0, and then right after that, nice little feed, and Williams backside made it 2-0. And this is when you start asking yourself the question, okay, will the Crabs have enough juice in the tank? Well, Peter Sheehan got the Crabs on the board, nice little cut, and then you're going to see Pian Bianco take the feed from Mateo Brown. It was 2-2, and then this is when we knew we were going to have a ball game. Then Dane Swanson to J.P. Ward. Ward with the sky whammy stick fake, comes around top side, dunks it home. High bouncers will go.
Maybe the play of the game there.
Then the long distance operation from Leading Edge. That was number 19, Kyle Stevenson. And this is the goal. This is the one we thought was going to change the game. Billy Rojak makes it 4-3, but then the Crabs were not to be denied. Rory Jones, monster second half, sweeps across, gets the goal. Then we're going to see Ryan Lancaster with the pretty handle in transition. And this is where you really just sense the momentum shifting.
Yep. And they just rolled from there.
Mateo Brown, mano a mano, just gets top side. Speed dodge, power, finds the upper 90. And then we're going to see Sheehan again. He scored the goal before this, but then he is going to find McVicker on the backside. Goal for the Crabs. They were off and running. Lancaster, a catalyst in transition all day today. Hits, who else but Jackson Bonds. I mean, that's a player that we have to give some props to. He had an incredible ball game, especially in the second half, and was able to just make play after play, especially off the face-off wing in the middle of the field. Sheehan with the shot, rebound Rory Jones, sends it back home. And that was that run. I mean, it went from 4-3 to 10-4, and then, you know, Leading Edge just really didn't have an answer. And then the Crabs also, George Alvarez, we talked about his goaltending and how he stepped up in this game.
It was huge. You know, I think they got some really good saves from him and just rolled, you know, and really impressed with the chemistry and the ball movement from that Crabs offense. A number of guys that could hurt you there. Leading
Edge would not go away. That is a tough goal. Uvino to Andrew Williams. And this is where Leading Edge showed some life, but too little too late. Your 2020 division champions, the Crabs, the Baltimore Crabs, win the 2019 Crab Feast. Stick around. We've got the 2021 championship coming up, top of the hour, 3 o'clock. It'll be FCA versus DC Express. Stick around. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Nationally known, locally grown. Crabs Lacrosse, Baltimore's best.
One of the nation's most prestigious invitational events. Over 120 college coaches in attendance. "17 states, plus Canada. Representing over 3,000 athletes. Thousands of players have been discovered to play at the next level.
Welcome in, folks. We've got the 2021 championship game. If you guys could stay behind the cones, that'd be great. That's where line of sight we can't see. Thanks, boys. We got the DC Express versus FCA 2019 Crab Feast Championship game between FCA and DC Express. Mark Dixon and Ty Zanders, Director of College Recruiting and High School Content for Inside Lacrosse.
Should be a great game here. Really enjoyed watching these teams so far, both eking out one goal victories in semifinals earlier.
And this is the age division that is hot with respect to the new recruiting rules that came into effect in 2017. And the 2020s were the first, I guess, class that went live in September of 2018. But this really is a class, I mean, that 2020 class had over 100 kids committed. This is a class that only had maybe a half a dozen committed.
Yeah. And I don't think we have one on either one of these rosters, as far as I know. No, we do not.
Shot and a goal right off the bat for DC Express. That is number 21, Spencer Hughes out of Bullis. Big, strong lefty is able to stick it. DC Express is up 1-0.
That was Graham Hertzberg there.
Hertzberg, my bad. Number 14?
The hefty lefty from Landon.
Okay.
Not the quickest, but a strong shooter, strong dodger there.
The heat must be getting to me when a 14 looks like a 21.
That's all right.
We all make mistakes. My apologies to the Hertzberg family, but I think if that's any indication, we might be calling his name a few more times in this game. Ensuing face-off, 50-50 ground ball. Looks like it's won by DC Express. Aggressive checking. Number 18, Patrick Droney from FCA, but a good stick with it from Mac Raitano to win possession for DC Express.
Raitano, one of the better defensive-minded midfielders that you'll see in this class. Just does all the little things. Coaches love him. Coach Mike Winter for DC Express just raves about Raitano, and I'm really impressed with him in the Geico National Championships in last month.
Hertzberg working against the defense. Shot just goes wide. Who's that? Feet inside, ball is rolling toward the sideline. It was not deflected, so possession will go over to FCA. FCA with the orange pennies, orange shorts. DC Express, white pennies, black shorts. And now FCA looking to enjoy their first offensive possession of the game. This is Charlie Corse. Gets it over to Michael Haas. Avery Tankersley on the field for FCA. Kevin Tucker now in possession of the ball.
Just a number of players that had pretty significant roles as sophomores on their MNAA teams this year. Same in the IAC and WCAC here for their DC counterparts.
Mick Kelly being defended. This is now Tucker, steps in, shoots and scores. Kevin Tucker, head of steam, gets into the middle of the defense and bounces it past the netminder of DC Express, and we're tied at 1.
Good job there, getting to the middle. Through the teeth of defense there. Little hesitation.
So 1-1, FCA and DC Express tied. Ensuing face-off, it's Ian Giesman for FCA and Chase Mullins for DC Express. And Mullins, aggressive check, creates a loose ball. Mac Raitano is able to get the ball.
And I could be wrong, but I really feel like FCA will have to just steal face-offs today because Chase Mullins is one of the better 2021 face-off guys out there. He is stellar. Just a dominant force for the Richmond Hawks as well this week at the Island Invitational and now here at the Crab Feast. Transferring to St. Christopher's next year, just a really good face-off prospect, good build, quick hands, rarely loses.
Max MD, goaltender for FCA, gets the ball out to Hawes. Ball now being controlled by Tommy Nyhouse of FCA. Being guarded by Dimitri Fakianudis, and I know I butchered that name, Ty.
Did a good job, though.
Okay, is that how you know how to pronounce it?
No, we'll go with that, though.
Okay. I'm going to assume the S is silent, but I'm probably wrong. Nyhouse steps in, shot, just goes wide. Backed up by FCA. Possession will stay with FCA. Restart up to Hayden Miller of FCA. Over to Nyhouse. Nyhouse, step inside, feed. Miller, shot, save. That's Jack Frakion, goaltender for DC Express. Stops that high-to-high offering, and Express will look to clear. Ball's up the field to Matthew Brill. Brill, little flip to Lucas Hilsenrath. Oh, feed over to Hertzberg. Hertzberg can't corral it. Ball's rolling to the sideline, but it's going to stay. Possession remains with DC Express.
Good defense there.
Matt McNally for DC Express gets it to the far side. Shot, bounces over the cage.
This is really just a DC Express team that can come at you in waves, kind of take turns. Connor Davis, a really solid dodger, finisher, good inside. Graham Hertzberg, the lefty. Spencer Hughes, another Bullis guy.
Shot and a goal. Number 10 for the DC Express, Will Angrick, is able to absorb the defense of Kalen O'Hara. Good defense by O'Hara, but then Angrick just would not be denied. Gets down the alley, puts the high bouncer, and DC Express is up 2-1.
High bouncers will go, Mark. One of my favorites. Use the earth.
Love high bouncers.
Just so hard to pick up as a goalie. You just don't expect it.
Ensuing faceoff won by DC Express. Chase Mullins comes up with it. Ethan Till going to the cage, gets inside. Till, shot denied. Max MD right on the doorstep. Ball is then picked up by Colin Burles. Michael Hawes wheels out of a double team from DC Express. Good ride from DC Express. Creates the pressure situation. Ball is thrown out of bounds, turnover. So credit DC Express. Connor Davis, Hertzberg, both riding hard, and their pressure creates that turnover. Ball goes to DC Express.
Definitely a tough blow to make a great play on this side of the field and then turn it over in the clear, but just some scrappiness, gritty play by DC Express.
Little physical play right here by Kieran Anzalone. Human clear, punt return action. Two minutes remaining here in the first quarter. I'd like to tell you some numbers, but coaches are standing right in front of us and we can't see. Ball's taken away. Nice trail check by number 27, Edward Lloyd of FCA. Charlie Corse gets the ball behind to Josh Tang. Tang wheels it back up top to Corse.
Loved watching Tang 2 weeks ago. He was great at Platinum Cup, really good player out of Spalding. My guy Brian Phipps, the head coach there.
Mick Kelly gives it over to Tucker. Tucker against the defense of Anzalone. Tucker gets a step shot. Easy save for Frakion. Frakion up to Anzalone.
And that's
we've got
popcorn.
less than a minute to go. Anzalone leading the transition. Shot Looks like it didn't make it to the, actually Max MD with the great save. Colin Burles now with the ball. Ball up to Kelly. 30 seconds remaining here, first quarter. Here comes DC Express. Shot just goes at wide, backed up by DC Express. Feed goes awry at front of the cage. Ball rolls out of bounds. And that'll do it for the first quarter. DC Express leads FCA 2-1. Crab Feast 2019-2021 championship game. We'll be right back with the start of the second quarter. Crabs FCA playing for the 2021 championship.
Nationally known, locally grown. Crabs Lacrosse, Baltimore's best.
Mark Dixon, Ty Zanders back with you live here. Crab Feast 2019 championship game. FCA DC Express. DC Express leading FCA 2-1. Facing off for FCA, Ian Giesman. Working against the face-off man for DC Express, that's number 15, Nicholas Callis. Mac Ratino working the ball into the offensive half for DC Express.
As we mentioned, just a number of top defensive prospects in this game. You know, Colin Burles, one of my favorites on FCA. Of course, younger brother, BJ Burles, who was Washington Post Player of the Year, Baltimore Sun Co-Player of the Year, off to Yale, Under Armour All-American. Great lineage, of course, son of Bubba Burles.
Heck of a long pole and a shot on the run. Number 21 for DC Express is Spencer Hughes. So I inadvertently gave him credit for the first goal of the game. This one certainly belongs to Hughes. Beautiful shot, paints the upper 90, and DC Express is up 3-1.
Put his shoulder down a little bit and just great placement there. Can't place him that much better. Nested offside high right between the goalie and the pipe.
Back to the face-off dot. Giesman wins it out to himself, flips it up to Brian King of FCA, over to Tucker. Mick Kelly now in possession of the ball for FCA, gets it over to Tankersley. Tankersley being guarded.
Dixie, about time we see a Kelly play for Calvert Hall, you know?
Mishandle by Tankersley, picks it up. Loose ball situation, Raitano and Tucker fighting for it. And here come the DC Express. We're gonna have a loose ball push against DC. Possession will go over to FCA, and I think we're starting to see some a little bit of tiredness and It's hard. I mean, these games are a grind. And the 2021 division, the biggest division here at Crab Feast 2019, is these are the guys that September 1st, they go live in terms of being contacted by college coaches and the recruitment begins.
A lot of eyes on them, of course, with them kind of being the first byproduct of the recruiting rules.
So what's the vibe you're getting from coaches on the 2021 class? What's the mindset in terms of, okay, this might be a set, aside from about, like we said, 6 players, this might be the first virgin class, not really to be committed to a lot of places.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, we're all just kind of figuring out, who stacks up. And I think you really have a much better sense of each class after this weekend. And I think that, for each of these teams to persevere and get through an army of some of the best club teams in the country is pretty incredible. But a lot of coaches here are just figuring out who they like, and we'll head up to Showtime this week and see who plays well at Under Armour. And in general, I think everyone's, heads is spinning a little bit. Because in the past, you've had a really good sense of each class, I mean, just a long time ago. You knew these classes like the back of your hand, when they get to the rising junior level. And with these guys, just still figuring it out.
Extra man opportunity for FCA. It was a slash against DC Express. Ball was thrown out of bounds by FCA. Turnover to DC Express. But even in the 2021 class that was so, quote unquote, well known, like we just saw in the Crabs leading edge game in some of our conversation, there's still a lot of really good 2020s out there not committed to a college.
And I think what's interesting is we've also had a summer that's seen the coaching carousel just spin and spin
Sure.
and spin. And with that said, I think there's some coaches that are, certainly figuring out what they want to do with their recruiting classes and when they inherit head coaching jobs. But with that said, there's a lot of spots available. And I think it couldn't be a better summer to have those spots available or to be uncommitted. You really just got to, calm down and think that things will work out. But just a ton of money, ton of spots. It's some great places available. Not many classes are full.
Shot at the end of the penalty as it was expiring, and that is Matt McNally of DC Express. Express was just really killing the foul. You could hear the countdown coming from the scorer's table, and McNally saw a path to the goal, and he took it. Gets underneath the defense. And this is great recognition, I think, by McNally, because once you realize you got a defender on your back, you have an advantage some way, somehow. I like how he got that inside shoulder going to the cage, was able to get topside, and he's able to put it past Max MD, the FCA goaltender.
Let's see if DC Express can play make it, take it. They often do with Mullins.
Well, DC Express in this game is using 2 face-off men. They've used Mullins as well as Callis. FCA has gone with Giesman so far in this game. Whenever you have that 2-headed monster, you can oftentimes wear another face-off man down.
You need to have, 2 good guys now. I think every college roster, every club roster, so important to have 2 guys on those long, hot weekends. You're playing a ton of games.
Ball's up top to Hugh Mullane being guarded by Kai Smith of FCA. Mullane down the alley, draws a double, pulls it out. Michael Ridgway gets the ball over to Stephen Bowe. Burlace with the defense and checks the ball away, creates a turnover. We're gonna have an over and back against DC Express. So FCA will have possession of the ball. Nice defense by FCA.
Very accustomed to seeing a Burlace cause a turnover over the years.
Yeah.
Kind of a very good looking prospect there on defense.
Wearing his dad's number 40 as well as his brother BJ's number 42. Mick Kelly down to Sevi. Tankersley up top, being watched by the defense of Stephen Bowe. Tankersley down the wing to Tucker. Tucker swim move inside. Good defense being played by Mason Scanlon of DC Express. Tankersley down the alley. Cycles it behind the cage to Tang. Kelly now with the step, gets inside the defense, shoots, goes over the cage. Nice split dodge there by Mick Kelly.
Avery, slam this. Avery, slam him.
Tang trying his matchup. Back up to Kelly. Kelly gets inside, bounce shot. Frakion with the save, rebound, pinballs around a little bit. Frakion trying to draw that interference foul, doesn't get it. Ball, good ride. Sevi picks up the ball on the far side.
Sevi Cordero, one of several players that have had a really prominent role in their high school team. He's a Canadian who boards at Georgetown Prep, and been watching him for a long time. Solid player.
Tankersley back to Tucker.
And Dixie, I know you watch a lot of the Loyola Dons. You know, what are your thoughts in their 2021 class?
It's deep. And my son Matthew's a 2021 in there. He teammates with a lot of these guys out there on the field. Tucker, Hayden Miller, Charlie Course. They played a lot of minutes this season for the 2019 Dons. So there's a lot of guys coming back.
It'll be fun to watch them come of age over the next couple of years.
Semifinalists this season in the MIAA, losing to the eventual champion Calvert Hall Cardinals. Shot of Mick Kelly, kisses off of the post. I guess the better question is, what do you think of the 21 class of the Loyola Dons?
I think they're excellent. You know, I really enjoy watching them play. They play hard and really athletic and strong in the middle of the field.
No one cares about my opinion on high school lacrosse. That's your cup of tea, my
I trust
friend.
you with the Dons, my man. I do.
Transition goal shot. DC Express. That was some high heat from the far side of the field. Looked like that was Luke Raymond, number 22 for the DC Express, and that is some pepper right there.
Beautiful.
And that's got to be a bummer for FCA. They had the ball on offense for about 3-4 minutes. They had a couple quality shot opportunities. Mick Kelly hit the pipe, and those are disheartening goals to give up when they go from defense to offense. Mullins wins the next faceoff, comes down. Under a minute to go here in the first half. 2021 championship game of the Crab Feast Tournament 2019. DC Express 5, FCA 1. Will Angrick gets the ball over to Spencer Hughes. Hughes being guarded by the long stick midfield of Patrick Droney of FCA. Short stick defense being played
Really been impressed with the two-handedness of a lot of these DC Express players on offense.
7 seconds, MD with the save for FCA. Max MD, one of those 2021 Loyola Dons with a nice save, and bodies are flying. And that'll be it, the end of the first half. After 24 minutes of play, DC Express leads FCA 5-1. It is halftime here. Spencer Hughes with that last shot. Max MD with a really nice save to keep the margin at 4. Stick around, we've got the second half action. Crab Feast 2019-2021 championship game coming right up.
One of the nation's most prestigious invitational events. Over 120 college coaches in attendance. "17 states, plus Canada. representing over 3,000 athletes. Thousands of players have been discovered to play at the next level.
Welcome back. Second half about to commence here. Mark Dixon with Ty Zanders, Director of Recruiting and High School Content from Inside Lacrosse. Make sure you go to InsideLacrosse.com for all of your lacrosse needs, but especially the summertime write-ups and all the summertime coverage of the circuit that is the Recruiting Trail 2019. We're going to have a push on the ensuing face-off against DC Express. Possession over to FCA. And FCA could really use a little bit of boost right here. The Tucker goal earlier in the game that made it 1-1. That's the only marker so far for FCA in this contest.
And they're making the plays that have made a difference, but you know, couldn't solve for Akion, and just some tough defensive play by DC Express. Right as Jay Cohen makes a great play there. One of the better defensemen in that class out of Landon.
Cohen draws a flag as well, so we've got a flag down, possession DC Express. Will Angrick stepping in to the box, so this will be a free possession for DC Express. Another turnover for FCA, and DC Express with a 4-goal lead and a flag down will take their time and look for the right opportunity to attack. Spencer Hughes, shot rings off the post. New goaltender for FCA is Jack Webb. And I want to take a minute too, Ty. I was watching this 2021 FCA team play in their quarterfinal game, and a young man, Wyatt Haney, was injured in that contest. Scrappy kid, I've known Wyatt for a long time, had the opportunity to coach him many years ago, so our thoughts are with Wyatt, and hopefully he is okay. Hard, gritty player, was injured earlier in this tournament.
Definitely tough to see. Thinking of him for sure. Let's see if his FCA boys can come back.
DC Express on the man up, feed inside, shot and a score. Nice look underneath. Luke Raymond taking the feed from up top and from Hertzberg, and is able to slip it past Jack Webb, and DC Express extends their lead.
Not too often you'll see Hertzberg get an assist. A good finish there by Raymond. Good little player there inside out of Gonzaga. A place that's certainly produced some great attackmen over the years. Timmy Monahan won, Jack Myers.
And it almost feels or seems like we're going to see another shift in power. So you've had Georgetown Prep, Landon in that area had their run. Bullis is now having their run. It looks like maybe St. John's is getting some really good players.
St. John's
area.
Definitely, I think, some really good young players. But it feels like Gonzaga's had a really strong stranglehold.
Okay.
In the #1 spot in the Washington Post final rankings. Bullis certainly made waves down the stretch in some non-conference play, entering the Geico event, but Gonzaga, some great young players as well.
Purple Eagles certainly have a good one in Luke Raymond, who scored that last goal. Shot by Tang, hits the side of the cage, but we do have a flag down. New goaltender in for DC Express is Jordan Optel. And we're going to have a foul against DC Express, so a man-up opportunity for FCA forthcoming.
And Dix, just to expand on that last point, I mean, and talk about power shifts, I feel like there's been some really good classes in Baltimore the last couple of years. DC class is much better, than the Baltimore squad. I feel like some really good players. It feels like the best players I've seen have been from Long Island, Suffolk County, and DC in the 2021 class. I mean, no disrespect meant for the Baltimore guys, but I've been really impressed by what DC has shown.
Shot goes out of bounds. Possession will stay with FCA.
Some passionate coaching there by my man Brent Hyken. These coaches are just so invested in these kids.
Course up top. And another turnover for FCA. That ball was nice, saved by an FCA defender, but here come the DC Express. Transition opportunity. Lucas Hilsenrath throws it up top.
These kids still just playing their tails off today. Compete level's outstanding.
Both teams really hustling, scrapping, getting after it. Penalty has expired on DC Express, so the teams are back to even strength. Again, 6-1. DC Express leading FCA. This is Charlie Course. Course going down the right alley. Cross field pass to Tucker. Tucker down low. Shot. Save by Optel. And then a loose ball corralled by a long pole for DC Express. Good clearing opportunity right here for Mac Riento. I'm sorry, Raitano.
Definitely makes a big impact on each game that he plays. Kind of one of the players that you watch more and more, you appreciate more every time. You may not, jump off the page, in the first game, but you really appreciate how much he can do. Swiss Army knife there for DC Express.
And that, to me, as a lacrosse broadcaster, a lacrosse observer, now as a father of a player that wants to play at the next level, it seems like that's the biggest difference between recruiting now versus early recruiting. The coaches can watch a player multiple times, multiple situations, showcases, team tournaments, club tournaments, and really get a feel for that athlete.
No doubt, and I think that's important. I think that, some people are critical of, the club circuit, and these coaches are flip-flopping at half and watching just a half of a game, but they're doing their research. They're going to a ton of tournaments and watch these kids as much as possible, getting them on campus eventually, getting film. And I think it's just incredible. I mean, if you're a great player out there, you will get found. You don't have to blow my email up,
Is that you got to get one of those burner accounts, like just to, like a fake account, and then you have your real account type thing. I don't know. I've never seen your email, so I don't know how bad you get.
They've gotten smarter.
I got to imagine you got a lot of requests.
No.
Play has definitely slowed down here, middle of the third quarter. DC Express leading FCA 6-1, 2021 championship game of 2019 Crab Feast. Ball behind the cage in the stick of Lucas Hilsenrath. Nice pick set by Connor Davis. Be interested to see if we get a shot clock here at some point. Again, 2018 NCAA rules. Shot, side of the net. Jack Webb doing a nice job hugging the pipe and making the angle sharp. Burles looking upfield, gets it into the short stick of Michael Haas. Another deep ride by DC Express. Burles cruises over the midfield line. They certainly make life very difficult for any team clearing the ball. Burles is able to get it up to Cordero. Cordero over to number 41 for FCA.
I think what's been just so comforting to see is that a lot of the best attackmen that I've seen in the 2021 class have been impeccable in the riding game, and they ride hard. I think that's, one of those big things. It's great if you score goals, you make the right play, get a good assist, but if you don't ride, you should not be in the field.
I think when you look at the new NCAA rules that were incorporated this year with the shot clock and the 20 seconds to get it over, you look at the University of Virginia. I mean, I know that's an easy pick, but that's the national champions, but they won several games due to their ride.
Yeah, and they're just tenacious back there. I think especially even Ian Laviano, one of the better riding attackmen you'll see. Virginia, fun to watch the riding game, and I think a lot of these kids were watching that game and inspired. It shows.
And it's not exclusive to Virginia, but that's just the first team that came to mind. Championship weekend, they're down to Duke in the national semifinal. One of the ways they come back in the game, they ride hard, create some turnovers. Tankersley over to Cordero. Cordero will shoot from anywhere, and there he unleashes one from the top of the box. Ball goes out of bounds, backed up by FCA. 2 minutes left to go here, third quarter. 2021 championship game between FCA and the DC Express. 2019 Crab Feast. Mick Kelly, Raitano guarding him. Cordero operating up front, gives it over to Tucker. Tucker back to Cordero. Cordero being guarded by Hugh Mullane of DC Express. Raitano, good defense on Mick Kelly of FCA. Shot just goes wide by Tucker. Aggressive defense by Tyler Cool of the DC Express.
Tyler, another one of those players that was just a special showing at Geico as FCA catches in.
Tankersley, nice little jab step, fakes the shot, pumps, gets underneath the defense of DC Express, and that was a beautiful shot by Avery Tankersley. Stings the upper 90, and FCA gets a much-needed goal to cut the DC Express advantage to 4.
Another one of those players that just really came of age for Boys Latin this year, so they got better as the year went on. And the future is bright in Lakerland.
35 seconds left to go here, third quarter. DC Express leading FCA 6-2. Face-off violation against FCA. DC Express is going to have an opportunity here. 20 seconds left to go here, third quarter. This is Hertzberg. Hertzberg steps in and uses that big body you described earlier, and that is a tough one to give up if you're FCA. But Hertzberg showing his size and his strength, getting to the cage and getting the 7th goal for DC Express.
Got a bit of a Rambo-esque frame there for Hertzberg.
That's the thing with these attackmen when you're a hard charger like that, especially the lefty, that lead shoulder, getting underneath the defense and being able just to get that guy on your back. Hertzberg does just that on that occasion, and the DC Express leads 7-2 heading into the final and 4th period. Stick around. Mark Dixon, Ty Zanders back with you for the start of the 4th quarter. Crab Feast 2019-2021 Championship.
Nationally known, locally grown. Crabs Lacrosse, Baltimore's best.
College coaches still hanging around here. Cedar Lane Park, Bel Air, Maryland. It's the 2019 Crab Feast 2021 championship game. DC Express leading FCA 7-2. Final quarter here. Mark Dixon, Ty Zanders coming to you live from Cedar Lane Park. Ian Giesman, face-off man for FCA. Looks like it's a violation against FCA. Possession over to DC Express. Restart is with Will Angrick. Brian King hounding Angrick. Good aggressive defense from King. Ball is behind now as DC Express looks to move it around. Expect some patient offense and disciplined movement from DC Express with this 5-goal advantage. Raitano gets it up top to Will Angrick. Angrick gets inside. Nice patience, good discipline. Ball is loose. Lloyd with the takeaway for FCA. Ball is still loose. Good aggressive defense. Flag flies. FCA player ran up the back of a DC Express player.
Good call there.
Michael Ridgway was the offended party. And it's a push against FCA, so a 30-second man advantage forthcoming for DC Express.
Fun seeing Ridgeway take a beating throughout the whole tournament and just get back up and make a play. You know, tough player, and they go after him hard. He's a really two-handed, special player, can play attack and midi. Had a great year, Little Hoyas, Georgetown Prep.
Any relation to former Ridgeways that have played at Prep? And
I do
Kevin
believe
Ridgeway?
so. Kevin and T. T is at Richmond.
Kevin Ridgeway, if I'm not mistaken, won the Schmeiser one year at Notre Dame. I know he's at least the first team All-American, I believe. I think.
Great Notre Dame defenseman over the years.
Sure. Shot by Hertzberg over the cage. 10 seconds left to go on the penalty.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Penalties released.
Pass inside, goes awry. Hertzberg, though, on the backside, picks it up. Shot, score. Carter Hertzberg picks up the loose ball, wheels and deals, and puts a shot into the back of the cage. And
Not
DC
much
Express,
flash in his game,
No.
which is super effective. He won't run, beat you in a race, but he can make plays, score goals in bunches.
Speak for yourself, man. I'm not as fast as I used to be, so he might be able to beat me in a sprint. Hertzberg, big body, uses his body to his advantage, size and strength. Face-off, picked up by Mullins. Mullins over to Carter Ash for DC Express.
And again, they can be very methodical here. Run the clock off.
Anzalone on the field now for DC Express, gets it over to Mullane. Stephen Bowe checking into the contest for DC Express.
Bowe, a very good player who missed, I think, much of the spring for the Bears, but will be a big asset for them going forward.
Feed cross eludes the grasp of Bowe. Turnover, possession to FCA. Burlace looking to re-trigger. Ball comes up to Mick Kelly. Kelly has a little bit of advantage if he wants to take advantage of it. Kelly steps in. Trail check, ball's loose. And a timeout will be taken by FCA. 7 minutes, 1 second left to go here in the ball game. Wise timeout taken by FCA as they try to set something up to crack this tough DC Express defense. So
A lot of buzz from these college coaches about these defensive prospects for DC Express. I know we're still kind of all figuring out, who we like the most. Tyler Keel, one of the best. Jake Cohen, very special. Till, very active defenseman. 4 or 5 guys to be very, very highly recruited.
What is, at least in the early going, 2020 class defined, I would say, maybe by attackman, Brendan O'Neill, Brendan Grimes, among others. As we enter this 2021 territory, is it defense that's being looked at as maybe the strong?
Probably. I think, in terms of the upper echelon talent, I've seen some really good middies from Long Island that I think will be in contention for that top 5 spot. But yeah, I think defensively and in goal, they're 3, 4, 5 just special goalies. Of course, Jack Frakion, one of the names there in goal.
Is it Frakion? Because I've heard it pronounced
a million different
10
ways.
different times, 10 different ways.
We'll go with that.
So I'm good with Frakion. That
Apologies
works.
to Jack
Yeah, I know.
in advance.
Hey man, who cares what you call me? Just call me at dinner time or call me on payday. Charlie Corse working the ball over to Tankersley. Tankersley takes a whack. And a shot and a goal. Sevi Cordero with the 3rd marker of the contest for FCA. And we mentioned that he can shoot from anywhere, and that time he shows off his range.
Cordero, great hands. Very opportunistic this year for Georgetown Prep, and a nice finish there that we see again. A lefty finish.
Good catch. Yeah, good catch and shoot player. 9-3 is your score. As Cordero is able to solve the DC Express defense. Ball's loose after the face-off. Nice ground ball pickup by Will Angrick of DC Express.
Angrick coming on strong these last couple days. Good showing Friday and been solid today. You can see a lot of these guys next weekend at the Under Armour games.
That's a great tournament coming up next weekend at Meadowwood
and St. Paul's.
Yeah, a little bit of a change in venue.
We may all just overdose on poulet and wine merchant this weekend.
Oh, you don't have to sell me on the wine merchant.
Can't wait.
Bomber. That's my go-to. But I try to stay healthy. The chicken salad can't be beat as well.
I've had, as a St. Paul's alum, many a time where I double dipped. I went both. Just walk across the parking lot, get the other one.
I got to tell you, I've never done that, and I'm still out of shape. Nice save by Jack Webb. Burley's trying to run it down. Loose ball push. Good hustle play right there by Michael Ridgway. That's a guy you mentioned. He's taking a beating.
Not slowing him down.
No. Stays on the field. Matt McNally now controlling the ball for DC Express. We're under 5 minutes here in the fourth quarter. 2019 Crab Feast, 2021 championship game. These are rising juniors. And DC Express really from start to finish has controlled this game. Shot rings off the post. Rebound goes right to McNally. That was some serious heat being uncorked by Spencer Hughes.
Luckily for DC, just came right back to them.
It's been that kind of ball game for him.
No doubt.
This is Hughes.
Certainly speaks volumes about a team when you can just run through a bracket like these two teams have, just with the level of competition here. How many great club teams there are at the Crab Feast on an annual basis. Just some tough, gritty wins.
FCA beat Mad Dog National to get into this championship game. DC Express knocked off Eclipse in the semis.
That was a rematch of last year's NLF National Championship that DC Express won.
I remember that.
Great game.
3 minutes left to go here in the game. Droney chopping away behind the cage for FCA. And we're going to have a flag. Looks like that flag is going to be against FCA.
I don't think Coach Hyken loves that.
So a man-up advantage coming for DC Express. So Hertzberg looks like he'll re-trigger for DC.
He's definitely the hot hand.
Two minutes left to go here in the game. Mark Dixon, Ty Zanders, it's been a pleasure bringing you the 2020 and 2021 championship games of the 2019 Crab Feast. This is Ridgway. Nice save by Jack Webb. Got low on that one. Makes the great stop. Brian King picks it up out of traffic, and here come FCA. Cam Smith, head of steam, coming down the field. Gives it back to Michael Hawes. Hawes, little stutter step. Gets inside the defense. Pulls it out. John Kelly now with the ball out of McDonough for FCA. Tankersley into the game again. Getting it over to Kalen O'Hara. Tommy Niehaus into the contest again for FCA. Being guarded by Stephen Bowe. I've mispronounced that 25 times in this game. Feed cross, saved by the goaltender.
I know you want to pronounce that again.
Let's see, where's my goalie? I'm looking for him. Optal, right? Right? It's Optal is the goalie.
Yeah.
I think I got that one right. No.
I went to the wrong one.
Look at you. About a minute remaining here. 20 seconds, actually.
Really just want number 25 to make a play so you can pronounce that Greek name again.
Oh, my goodness. I tried it the first time, and I think I'm not in good favor of the Greek community right now. Shot and a goal. Tough catch and shoot. And it looks like that is number 3 for FCA. That is Jake Gelati ending the game with a nice goal. And here we're going to take a look at it. Gelati, a player who gets open inside, catches it, and he takes a shot. Toughness by Jake Gelati in the middle of the field for this FCA team. But this game belongs to the DC Express. Gelati gets hammered, scores the goal, but that will not be enough as the DC Express take the 2019 Crab Feast Championship at the 2021 division by a final count of 8-4.
Fun to watch this group today. Really good squad, deep, athletic, tough in the middle of the field.
We're seeing the players with each other. Congratulations, DC Express. And let's take a look at the highlights. This game got started off by Hertzberg getting inside for DC Express. High bouncer, beautiful shot, and DC Express was off and running. FCA had a quick answer, though. It was Kevin Tucker off the dodge, gets inside of the defense for DC Express and scores. But from that point on, this game was all DC. As Frakion made saves, the defense was able to create some turnovers, and then the offense really picked up. Good shot right there by Will Angrick. And then we've got the long stick getting into the action. But Max MD for FCA made a great save right there. But at the end of the day, it was just DC Express. Defense was a little bit too much, and then offensively they were opportunistic.
And I don't think you'll find a better club defense at this level than DC Express. Just putting a stranglehold in them.
This is a goal being scored by Matt McNally, getting inside of that FCA defense. FCA had some opportunities in this contest to draw closer and to make a game of it. And they played hard from whistle to whistle. But at the end of the day, the DC Express, they are your 2019 Crab Feast champions of the 2021 division. Tankersley with the nice goal there from FCA. But then you had the answer immediately at the end of the third quarter. This might have been the real backbreaker that we talked about. Carter Hertzberg with short time at the end of the third period.
Definitely started and finished the day strong. Some really good prospects here. I think we'll see their phones blow up in a few weeks in 9-1.
So DC Express, they take home the 2019 Crab Feast Championship at the 2021 division. Jake Gelati rounded out the scoring for FCA with this tough goal on the inside. But the DC Express claims the 2019 Crab Feast Championship. Ty, it's been a pleasure. Good to work with you. Good work on all the inside lacrosse and everything, recruiting, high school, and other content for IL.
Always a pleasure, Dixie. This is fun, and thank you, Ryan McLaren, for having us. A great opportunity to have Club Lacrosse on this platform. Just some really good lacrosse today and all weekend here in Bel Air and at the other sites of the Crab Feast.
Once again, your final score, DC Express 8, FCA 4. Thanks for watching. It's been a great weekend of lacrosse at the 2019 Crab Feast. Mark Dixon, Ty Zanders, we'll see you soon.